welcome to another episode of Coffee with a Kick. I am Xander, that is Keegan, and we've just finished up the match. Well, just finished up. It is now Friday, of course. But, Labor Day weekend, we covered that in the previous episode. It's a whole holiday thing that we do in the United States of America that has occurred. And now we're back on Friday for Match Day 4 recap. Headliner. Keegan is back in it. That's the headliner. Because I won a grand total of 3-7. There are a couple teams here that revealed themselves as to not be trusted going forward for the rest of the season. What do you say we just go ahead and hop right into it? I've got Luton Town and West Ham United coming up here as first. I believe the only match... Oh, no. There were two matches we both got correct this weekend. This being one of them. Because I will tell you, Luton Town is not very good. That is my headline from this one.
Yeah, the scoreline is deceiving. 2-1 was not how the game went. I felt like West Ham controlled it throughout pretty well. Luton had their chances, but I don't know. I feel like West Ham won it fair and square.
They won it, but that 90 plus 5, that was pretty much a handball on the corner kick there from Luton Town. They could have stolen a point out of this, even though they were thoroughly outplayed the whole match.
Yeah, that one, I think it could have gone either way. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it was a hand in an unnatural position. His arm was up here. It definitely deflects. I think that the argument you have is that there was no one on the backside for Luton Town that could have really done anything with it, I guess. But
that's not really the call, though. It's just like if your hand touches it. So.
Yeah, it's supposed to be letter of the law sort of thing for handball at this point. So, I mean, did Luton Town deserve to get a point out of that? No. I mean, the goalkeeper should have done better on the first goal that they conceded. And on the second one, in the 85th minute there, the Luton Town defense just kind of went to sleep. They totally broke down. And sure, it was a good corner kick, but it should have been dealt with more handily than that. Luton Town definitely looking like early contenders for going out this season. Let's go on to some other teams that look like they may be, not destined for future football in the Premier League. Sheffield United and Everton.
Yeah, this one, I think it was summed up by the Pickford own goal. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I honestly think Sheffield United played better in this game.
They did.
They had a couple big chances. Mm-hmm. The own goal was just unlucky, but that kind of sums up the season so far for Everton.
Yeah, and then Pickford makes up for the own goal there in the 90 plus 9 with some really incredible goalkeeping work there to keep the ball out at the very end and save the point. But Everton, I mean, I'm glad that they finally got their first goal of the season, but I've never seen the teams look so like they're going to score, but also not at the same time. Like, I feel like there's a lot of good momentum, but then they have no idea how to score, it seems like.
Yeah, it's a pretty classic Sean Dyche side. I think he doesn't have that big striker in the middle that he likes yet.
Yeah.
That's really, I mean, Chris Wood. He made Chris Wood look like a 15-goal scorer a season kind of guy. So, I don't know. They don't seem like an attacking team.
Right.
And like you said, they really want to score, but it doesn't seem like they can. Yeah. But they got 2 goals this time. Maybe it's a positive shift. Who knows?
Maybe it'll turn things around for them. I'm not convinced. It was still Sheffield United, who looked better, but still. Once again, you got Everton versus Sheffield United, so both teams should look pretty good because neither of them are. We'll move on to Brentford and Bournemouth, which we both got wrong because Bournemouth won this game outright, oddly enough.
Well, it was a draw.
Well, maybe I should look at my notes more clearly than that. But Bournemouth
They did play better though. I think
Yeah.
Bournemouth was a better team. I'll be honest at that.
The first goal there by Brentford was very cheeky. That quick take on the free kick, catching the Bournemouth goalkeeper off guard, was. It was. I mean, you put it on frame, so it's a good goal. But it's there was some really Brentford was really disappointed coming away with only 1 point here, because in the 76th minute, that bad giveaway by Brentford gives them a slight break for Bournemouth, and then it gets worse. Again, we have a defender misplaying the ball. It looked very similar to the misplay last week by oh goodness, who was it?
Well, I mean, Alexander-Arnold missed the ball.
That was it. Yeah,
Alexander-Arnold guy again tried to pass it back, and it just was intercepted easily.
Yeah, and then they slid it across for an easy tap in there.
Yeah. But
Bournemouth, I mean, they had their own defensive letdown there in the 90+3 to let Brentford get back in it for the single point. It was an odd match. Like, it was pretty entertaining overall, but it was, I don't know. I feel like a draw is actually a proper result in the end. Once I've looked at my notes more appropriately and saw that was actually the result. My bad. I apologize.
Honestly, it was an enjoyable draw.
Yeah.
I think that both teams had their chances. Bournemouth definitely the better side, but it wasn't compared to the Everton Sheffield United 2-2. I enjoyed this one much more.
Yeah, this one had some. They felt like they were going to score rather than they just ended up scoring. Yeah, we both got that one wrong. Then we move on to Burnley and Tottenham, and apparently Tottenham have figured out how to score. Let me tell you that much. The link up. Yeah, the link up play between Son and not Henderson. What's his name? Madison. Madison has really kind of blossomed this early in the season, and they both look pretty great out there. I mean, Son has been great for a long time, but Madison has really come into his own here without Harry Kane around and produced for him. I mean, Burnley's not the greatest side, but anytime you can hang 5 on someone, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, Burnley scoring really early gave me hope for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Son equalizing, I was like, okay, maybe it'll be a good game. And then, Tottenham it felt like vintage, 2018 Tottenham, whenever they made the Champions League. It feels like they're not missing Harry Kane a lot.
No. It really did fall apart there in the first 10 minutes and change of the second half for Burnley there. But yeah, that was Son's first goal there was a really cheeky little chip there. I liked that goal a lot. But yeah, I think Tottenham are showing that they're definitely going to be top, fighting for one of those top 4 spots for sure. But we'll see it looks good for them going forward in the season.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the newly promoted teams decide to do with their managers, especially if it continues on.
Yeah.
Because is it the manager? Is it the lack of quality? Because, Luton looks really bad. Burnley looks bad. And was it Bournemouth that came up again?
Yes. I think it was Sheffield, Luton, and
Sheffield, yeah.
And Burnley who've come up.
They look all right.
Sheffield's had flashes of okay, I could see this happening. So that will be interesting seeing. I mean, for old time's sake, you hope that they hold on to Vincent there at Burnley, but he's got to figure something out there. But we'll move on to, I would say, probably the most shocking result of the weekend. Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, a team I picked to get out of the Premier League, doing their darndest to prove me wrong. Really, really underwhelming match by Chelsea. I don't know what they're doing. I think it's really just the curse of getting rid of Kristen Pulisic. Probably is what it is.
Probably. That's the only logical reason. Yeah, they definitely. I don't know. They're a young team. They just bought like 500 players, so it's going to take a while to mesh together. And I think it'll be like we saw last week: 3-0 win, 0-1 loss at Stamford Bridge. Might I say that? So
yeah,
I think it'll just be growing pains. Again, next week they could win 4-0.
Not next week because we are going into international break, but I know what you mean.
Next match day they could.
They really should have gotten a point out of it, though. Sterling gave a great ball in there in the 83rd minute, and they did nothing with it. It should have been put away and at least gotten a point out of it, which, while disappointing, isn't no points. But yeah, Chelsea, they've got some tidying up to do overall. Coming through the international break. Then we'll move on to the result that everybody expected for Man City and Fulham. We were both pretty well correct. You got the number of goals scored correct. I got the spread of scores correct because I went 4-0, you went 5-0. 5-1, nice compromise. Thank you. And the first Erling Haaland hat trick of the season, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, first hat trick. If anyone was going to score for Fulham, I'm okay that it was Tim Ream.
Definitely.
And that's my unbiased USA opinion. But yeah, this felt first half, I was like, we're still trying to get into the game. Second half, it felt like a classic City route. I mean, we definitely did not get as many shots, more shots on target. Like we scored all of our shots on target. So Fulham definitely played very defensive and made us pass a lot, keep possession, but it felt like we were in control after that. Not even after the Ake goal. After the third goal, Haaland's first, I felt pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I think that the match really did turn on that questionable no offsides call and the stoppage time in the first half for City's second. Because, I mean, it was a great header. But he was in an offside position. And I understand that it's like it's still very close that he may have affected that. But it was...
he had to dodge it for it to go in, so I think that he definitely affected the goalkeeper's ability. So I was shocked they left it, but I'll take it.
I mean, you'll take it, but but Haaland's first goal, boy, what a touch by Alvarez on that one to release him up the middle. Yeah, fantastic stuff. And then Haaland, he back to form on penalties, just hammered it home, and then his hip swivel there on your garbage time goal. In the 90+5. Man, first timer just smashing it near post.
Yeah,
really,
bottom line. It was sweet.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Really hard to get that much torsion. Get that much torsion in your hips. But yeah, City
we'll do a whole demonstration one video.
Yeah.
Just the actual hip torsion.
Yeah. I'll try not to throw mine out. And then we'll move on to Brighton, Hove Albion, and Newcastle. I think I said that there were two teams who there were a couple of teams I'm no longer trusting. Everton, I don't trust them anymore. Newcastle United, I don't trust Newcastle United anymore. Speaking of inconsistency, they hang 5, give up 3, here's some and everywhere in between. But Brighton comes back after a disappointing result last week at the Amex and handles Newcastle. Really, they did handle them quite roughly, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Newcastle looked like they did 2 years ago when they're just fighting to be in the top 10. It was horrible from them. I mean, they looked like the worst side. Brighton looked like they were a top 4 side in this game. Whatever their coach is doing over there, their manager, their gaffer, as they say.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing, but he's giving them the secret stuff because Brighton came out kicking, and they were clearly in control this whole game. I was very impressed.
Very impressed. And really, 3-0 doesn't do the Brighton victory justice. That was a fluky goal there in the 90+1 that Newcastle somehow scrounged out a goal when they really didn't deserve it. I mean, Newcastle was outmatched the whole time.
I will say, Evan Ferguson, I mean, he's only 18 years old and he scores a hat trick.
Oh, yeah. Very impressive result from him there. Yep. And then we got next. There we are. Then we had my Wolves and Crystal. 3-2 loss for my Wolves. I'm glad we kept fighting. That's what I'll say about this one. We did not give up on the match. There was some good stuff in it. But Crystal deserved the win, to be honest. Their nice little give and go there in the 84th minute. Hold on. What's my note for that?
Yeah, it was a great goal by Edouard.
Yeah, that's what it says. Edouard.
Yeah.
Sometimes my handwriting.
The stat that gets me is Wolves had almost 59% possession. They passed the ball over 120 times more, and yet they get 7 less shots on target than Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace had 11 shots on target. So it's pretty amazing they only had 3 with that many shots on target.
It's our goalkeeper keeping us in it still. He's basically man of the match every time that we play, it seems like.
Jose Sa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was impressive, the defensive effort from the keeper. It definitely felt like there were some times where there wasn't a lot of communication. But it was a classic Crystal Palace mid-table win. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that the Wolves stay up because I think that we've got some good. I mean, Cunha got a goal at the very end with a nice little header. I mean, it was a garbage time goal. I'm going to be fair. It was, we got one back and made it a little bit more respectable. But like I said, not giving up on the match I felt was important.
Well, that goal difference matters.
In the end, I mean, hopefully it doesn't because we're just clear. But if it comes into play, it comes into play. Who's to say? And then moving on from that one, we will move on. We'll move on to Liverpool giving a good right thrashing to Aston Villa. We both got this one wrong. We both thought that Villa was going to come out with the victory, that Liverpool would have a little bit of a letdown after last week, but they took care of business. They looked like Liverpool, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool looked good. Aston Villa, again, I think they're another team that I don't know if I can trust them because last week they win, the week before they lose. This week they lose pretty bad. I don't know. They seem like a team that really wants to be top 5, top 6, but they just can't find that consistency. So I don't know. We'll see how they play out, but definitely Liverpool feels like they're back after this game.
Well, Nunez, just to your point from last week, Nunez should have scored in the 22nd minute. It took a Matty Cash butt to get that ball in the back of the net when Salah really laid it up on a platter for him. Should have done much better. But, in the end, it's still 3-0. Still very clear. Liverpool holding serve at their place there at Anfield. And looking good. I mean, looking good going into the international break. So we'll see how they can come back. See if they can hold that together when they come back. Still crossing my fingers. I can get rid of Jurgen Klopp, but it's not looking as good as it was. Let's get him out of here. And then we'll hop over from Liverpool down to London town for Arsenal and Manchester United. This one kind of shocked me, to be honest. I had United taking this one 2-0. You had a 2-2 draw, and really, I mean, Arsenal was just far and away the better team this week.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. Arsenal is going to break a record for how many goals they score in stoppage time. I mean, my goodness, how many times can I think they're going to drop points? and then they get a goal in stoppage time. It just really
not one,
my buns,
but two. And 90 plus 11, I feel like that's a bit excessive, to be fair.
I mean, there's got to be some review on that. I'm going to submit one if there's not. But I will say Marcus Rashford's goal was very nice. His goal was pretty great. Odegaard's goal was also great. The fact that it was a minute later is very scary for United.
Yeah. That you can't hold anything together for long.
No. And I don't really think, Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans at the back at the end of the game is not going to keep anything out. Yeah. So Ten Hag's got some work to do. But, yeah, overall, I think it probably could have been worse. I think 3-1 was the score line. That's fair for the game. It just came at the end.
I mean, Arsenal – it was nice of United to keep them out as long as they did. But eventually the dam is going to break. And when you're giving up, 55% possession and just you're outstatted across the board essentially. 12 corners, it's a lot of corners, a lot of possession down in the far end to maintain any sort of point total. They almost did it, but in the end, Arsenal came through. But that is what we've got for match day 4. Let's take a little pop over to the table and just 4 weeks in. Let's see how we're doing over there. Let's see. We got Liverpool and Tottenham hold. Oh wait, no, we've got a 4-way draw for second place. Our City's obviously up top. They're four matches in, 4 wins in. Already sitting on a nice +9 goal difference. That's all right, I guess. But then we got a 4-way draw there for second place at 10 points between Tottenham, Liverpool, West Ham, and Arsenal. Very good sides, to be honest. We'll see how that goes up. Let's see. Big match coming back from the international break with West Ham and City duking it out. That will be very important for title implications going forward. Brighton. No,
I'm not too worried.
Not too worried. Fair. That's fair. And then Brighton sitting there at 9 points, and then we get down into the rest of the teams. Down to the bottom, we're Burnley and Luton still trying to find their first point. Sheffield and Everton on a single point apiece. Both of them with tough matches after the international break. Tottenham for Sheffield United and Arsenal for Everton. Not looking great. The Wolves on 3. Let's see if we can beat Liverpool, get Klopp out of there. Let's go for it. And then, we'll see how everything shakes out. Any outstanding things you want to hit about the weekend?
I thought it was a weekend where, like you said, some teams really revealed their true colors, and it's going to take a lot of healing on my end for trust to be able to be rebuilt. Mm-hmm. There may be some counseling involved. I don't know.
Oh boy!
But some teams, I was thinking this is a top 4, top 6 team, and now I'm thinking they might battle relegation. I don't know. Yeah. That might be a little bit drastic, but overall, I think a couple of teams like Everton, teams like the Wolves, they will appreciate the international break because it gives them a time to re-exert some energy, kind of get back together and game plan how they're going to really tackle the second half, because the early stages really puts you in the mindset of what this season is going to be. So I think after like week 10, you go from optimism to let's just not lose anymore so we aren't in the bottom by Christmas. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see the response after the international break for a couple of teams.
Yeah, and hopefully no one picks up any bad injuries. And what really are some meaningless international matches coming up here, with where we are in the international cycle. But yeah, I think it was that and a lot of garbage time goals helping people get better score lines. That's what this weekend was about. But yeah, we'll be back actually on Tuesday with, as you may have seen, if you follow us on X, which you should follow us. I'm going to remember to do these things, such things now. You should follow us on X. You should subscribe on YouTube and ring that little dingle bell or whatever you call it. And just keep an eye out for us posting errata and other sorts of things. Don't know why I used the word errata, but that is what I said.
We're very high class over here, as you can see by our outfits.
I do say Tottenham, so if that's any sort of indication.
West Ham.
It's West Ham United and Tottenham Hotspur. And I've totally lost my train of thought. That's right. Champions League groups just dropped. And boy, if Newcastle thought that they were doing poorly domestically, just wait till you see that group that they found themselves in. That's tough. Anyway, we'll be back on Tuesday with predictions for people moving into the knockout stages from group play. I have to do some work for that because I have not looked at it yet in detail, aside from Newcastle getting some terrible pulls.
We got time.
I've got time. Obviously, I have a whole weekend or whatever. Anyways, we will be back then with that, and who knows if we'll be back next Friday because I have not decided that yet. Anyway, it is grab some coffee, go watch some soccer. See you on Tuesday.
Anyway,
I'll be the saying.